12:20 in the morning, and it's the 22nd of July 2023 in the Weaver Genesee of Roseman, California. Yeah, part two on this ranting and raving here this morning. Jason Aldean and his music had irritated someone, a lot of people, where they're going crazy over this damn thing. There's a few YouTubers out there having issues regarding this particular video because of what it represented and also the background history of it. And that, when it got produced and shown to the world, there's a lot of backlash on it where a major country music station or channel decided to pull the video concerning about Jason Aldean's music concerning about small town issues. He was trying to talk about how wonderful small town was compared to larger city, and the only issue is he kept showing every bad thing about happening in larger cities, and his music didn't express something, but it was reflective, ironically, like rap music can. Rap music, if I was remembering it correctly, back in the 80s and 90s, they were trying to talk about how bad things were in the inner cities. And the only way for the people could actually communicate their disdain of what was going on and how they're being mistreated left and right was by doing this in poetry with music. They know how to sing the damn lyrics, but they know how to rap the damn shit and put it into a poetic form and function where they communicated, and still do to this day, of their displeasure of things happening. And the only way they can do it is tell their story one way or another in a form of music some people don't like and other people enjoy a great deal. I'm slow on this one because I prefer to singing myself. And this wasn't singing, this was just telling a story in poetic form while calling it singing. And I had to remember a long time ago, their version of singing would be saying a poem out loud. Poems did not have to be rhyming, but they had to have a certain sentence structure with it. And a way to communicate it effectively to people to appreciate things or to be communicating a lot of things. I don't know when they've added the singing and music and then call it singing during that time. I don't know when that happened. But they did have it. Discovered how to tell their lives in the form of song. And that's how I was accustomed to dealing with singing and music and trying to get the words across. So in rap music these days, it's yeah, they've got a lot of it, but their own version is trying to use their tempo and use colorful metaphors and other language to describe something that matters a great deal to them. I don't hold it against rap music, I know, and I'm still slow to it. There are certain things I still need to listen to again to understand the messages more and more. And in that perspective, looking at some of the musics that we have today, the musicians trying to communicate their ideal and their idealisms. It's how they're supposed to be doing it that I got a problem with. Especially when you got one guy who's saying how well a small town is and how how this is better than the larger town because we only show the bullshit happening. We show the violence, the confrontations, and everything else dark and ugly. Is look at that! It's scary. But we're supposed to be better than that. How? In a 3 or 4 minute video, you show a hell of a lot of dark nature concerning about living in cities. But you hadn't shown all that positive attributes about living in a small town, either an agricultural or a mountain community. You're in a rural community. You're supposed to be showing and explaining the values of it. But you made it political. You attacked a lot of things in it. You jumped into the fray and made it political. And the people are reacting to the damn thing because it's worse than a damn mosquito bite. And you didn't even realize it. But you did realize it because that's how you got it created. And that's why you earned the wrath on this one. First Amendment rights are one thing. And yeah, you had a right to communicate this shit like crazy. And yeah, the rap music, and compared to your particular music over here, the styles are totally different, but they're telling the same damn story. At least they're telling their pain and their agony. They're telling about their struggles of what they're going through. It didn't matter. I didn't say who and what was doing the rap music. They were using a form of music, of communication, to effectively telling what their thoughts and their feelings are in a format. Okay, you're doing the same thing in this particular video of Jason Aldean of saying small town's a lot better. It could have been worded different. No, not worded differently. It could have been shown differently. So now you attack the larger cities at this point over here. You see the multi-ethnics being attacked or attacking people or cops trying to beat up on other people left and right. Either trying to maintain law and order or becoming assholes. But that's the kind of message that you were showing, wasn't it? But in small towns, it's a lot better. How? You didn't show that, you didn't present that, and you also put it into a context in a place where people actually remember this particular place had the connotations of it, had a history of it. That's where they got pissed off at. You're showing a place that you think that was a lot better, that actually had a hidden political agenda and a message that you put in there. Now, I understand about being, if you're innocent about it and didn't even realize the history of the place. But if you did it deliberately to send a message out there, man, you really opened up a Pandora's box on this one. You really let the uglies out. So if they're going to be jumping on people left and right trying to support the damn thing, well, their opinion. They have the First Amendment right to express their opinion at this point over here. Now, concerning about the music station and the channels, that is politics. And that is what they're trying to avoid right now, is anything political. Because they don't want to be jumped on. And they know who and what would be jumping on them for that one. Now, the film wasn't doing Wokism, according to whatever Wokism was supposed to be definable by other people left and right. Nobody knows what Wokism is. They heard the damn thing because some other fool and idiot decided to do that shit. Now, if you're actually talking about the terminology of being a Karen, that's a different story altogether, because that's demonstratable. That is demonstratable. But how do you define and how do you demonstrate wokeism? What is it? There's no clear definition, even from the schmuck who keeps talking about it all the time and running his particular state, not to mention the other schmucks running their states, like their little kingdoms. They're no longer America. Their version of America died off. Now they got their empires. But they like the idea of America. Oh, bullshit. They don't. They don't. Trust me, they got the power and ego going through their damn heads. Also in the film, they were talking about, in the first few stanzas, they were talking about burning the American flag was un-American. And they didn't even realize that the messages that they were sending is, well, we value the piece of cloth. Well, it's only a piece of cloth. You just haven't learned the history of the damn thing, had you? Not the creation of it, but why they fought over the idealism. When they had created a flag to rally the troops in the Continental War against the British, we were trying to make a symbol for our country. And we were trying to instill the meanings of what that flag meant, the symbolism of of what we thought America should have been, at least back then. Compared to now, we have no clue. We're trying to kill each other over an idea or idealism that we have still no idea. But the thing is, America was just not one idea. It was made of many hopes and dreams and of different faiths, of different cultures. They just didn't know how to define it more and more during that time. And yes, they did have the manifest destiny going through them like crazy. Everything had to be their territory, apparently. Colonies were getting larger and larger. Not much more area for them to expand upon, so yeah, they had to go out and conquer. And everybody else who had their own homes out there, who weren't European or European born or descended, Fubor. That's also a portion of America. The other portion of America is importing people as slaves. I discovered my ancestors were businessmen but didn't have plantations. But they didn't like the British either. They weren't comfortable about signing the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, Pennsylvania. I'd never been to that state. I'm not quite sure if I want to. Tourist maybe, but if I happen to mouth off, I may get myself in hotter water with my own political viewpoints concerning about what they're doing and the other states. And that's the thing about it. What our ancestors fought and died for was more than what they realized. They had hopes and dreams, and they were out there. But these days, shit. We read about it, but we don't know it. The video was supposed to express something like that. Was it supposed to be American? Was it supposed to be celebrating America? Because basically, this was like a bitch gripe session about how we didn't like the larger cities. But we didn't like to see part of America in that form or fashion because we're different. We're us versus them. Again, the political viewpoint. It's one thing if during the time of 9/11 we had different attitudes, different viewpoints, but after 9/11 hit, we consolidated with each other. And yeah, we did have songs out there to express our anger and our feelings, but at least we tried to show it one way or another. We got attacked, and anybody and everybody was going to be pulling in together. We had a January 6th riots, and everyone else is trying to tear at each other's throats, fracture everybody and anybody. We had an orange gas bag for a presidency, trying to continue to keep his seat, especially when he was voted out. Politics. They kept saying that Antifa was causing this one. Black Lives Matter caused this one. More politics. More misgivings, more misunderstandings. Yeah, we know how to treat people over here. Uh-huh. So you show the videos of the struggles and strife of others who are protesting against injustice or fighting against injustice one way or another. But you don't have that because you're perfect in a small town. I'm like, please, give me a break. We thought we were a small town out here. We're just a small community, about 20,000 out in this town of Roseman. We got two larger cities over here, and then we got the smaller communities, Mojave, Ridgecrest, Cal City, Tehachapi. Certain areas are protected by their own law enforcement because they can have that kind of connection, but we're still under one particular county of Kern, which is still screwed up. Most of the population is condensed in the Central Valley region. But they're not out there ready to lynch people, are they? Or show places where racism happens. And they show the racism happening. Yeah, there's a lot of connotations and a lot of denotations concerning about the video that nobody liked. Or the people who really got a problem with it didn't like. For the others, think, oh, it's great. It shows about America. Yeah, America falling down on its ass. There was more messages in that damn thing. And they knew it when they made it. Come on. There's a slap in the face. It's the Wokism shit. It's anti-Wokism shit. Something they still can't define anyway. We want to see what America's like. Oh, show what America's like. Not the cities exploding at this point. You want to show other portions of America that actually means it down. We actually had old videos and music from long ago that actually showed what America was supposed to be like, or the theme of it, or how we're supposed to view ourselves as Americans. But I'm sorry, those things aren't relative to this generation, are they? The newer generation, the younger kids, are looking at all this stuff. And how can they're trying to wonder how come our older generation are breaking down and self-destructing one way or another. We have to define Wokism. We have to do this for politics. We have to support this orange gas bag because what he represents. And what does he represent? A cult? Because that's what you guys are worshiping and isn't a cult. You guys ever remember what cult was like? In the 80s, we actually had, no, early 90s. David Koresh, religious cult, nut job gone crazy. There was also Jim Jones back in the 70s. Got his own cult going, moved it out, moved it across the seas to another country, to another town. Kept control of the place until he was getting more and more paranoid. He's gotten supplies of cyanide and killed everybody, including himself. Except for very few people who actually struggled to get the hell out of there if they weren't shot to death. But we're having that kind of mentality here in America, aren't we? You want to start showing what America's like? You want to show what your ideal America is? Self-destruction? Was that the point of the music? You want to see how perfect a small town was? It doesn't have all this damn shit, but we're singing about a small town. You didn't even produce the damn message of what the hell a small town was supposed to be, what the values of a small town is. As far as I'm concerned, it's small fiefdoms. They're small kingdoms. Megalomania. Slow, steady, conservative. We don't want the big stuff coming into us. Well, congratulations. It does. It has. And it always will be. You get smaller communities, you think you're isolated enough, and here comes the outside world. What are you going to do? Pick up and move again? We're not a nomadic tribe. What do we got to do? Fortify our places? And then have the internal politics still eat at us. You want to look at a small town, look at the boroughs of New York. Yeah. They treat their own little boroughs as small towns. If you're not part of this area, you're not part of anything. We know how to treat people right. Same thing like Los Angeles. We're spread out as a city incorporated, but we're also spread more out as a county. We have different little pockets here and there of cities, and they run it like their own little fiefdoms within an incorporated area. Tell me about small towns.